All right, let's take an incredible journey back in time. We're talking thousands and thousands of years to uncover the amazing story of how the very first people found their way to the Americas and built entire worlds. First things first, let's make sure we're on the same page with a really important term: Indigenous peoples. All this means is the very first original people to live in a specific place. They are the descendants of the first groups who settled the land way, way before anyone else arrived. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with that Great Migration, then we'll travel across North America, see amazing civilizations rise up in Central America, do a little island hopping in the Caribbean, and finally, climb the mountains of South America. It's going to be an epic trip. So our story really begins with a huge question. Why? What could possibly make people leave everything they know and start a journey that would last for generations? This wasn't a quick trip, it was a slow movement that took thousands of years. Well, it really boiled down to survival. For the most part, people were following their food source. We're talking giant herds of animals like mammoths and bison. Plus, the Ice Age was totally changing the climate, making some places impossible to live in. And, as families grew, people naturally spread out to find new land with better resources. But how did they do it? How do you just walk from one continent to another? Well, the Ice Age created something pretty incredible, a kind of doorway. Here's the key. During the Ice Age, so much of the world's water was frozen in massive glaciers that the sea levels dropped, like a lot. This uncovered a huge piece of land that connected Asia to North America. We call it the Bering Land Bridge. And that was the path into a whole new world. So once people crossed that bridge, they began to spread out over this massive new continent. And this is where the story of human adaptation just gets amazing. What's so cool is that North America has all these different environments, and people figured out how to live in every single one. Up in the freezing Arctic, the Inuit learned how to thrive. Out on the Great Plains, the Sioux became incredible nomadic hunters, following the buffalo. In the forests of the East, the Cherokee were expert farmers. And down in the hot, dry Southwest, the Apache and Navajo found ways to make a life in the desert. Truly brilliant. And it wasn't just about surviving. It was about building complex societies. Just look at the Iroquois. They created this powerful political alliance, a confederacy of different nations, that built a super organized and influential society long before Europeans ever showed up. Now, as people kept moving south, something incredible started to happen. In the fertile lands of Central America, small groups began to grow into some of the most advanced civilizations on the planet. I mean, check this out. We have the Maya, who built these giant, beautiful cities, had their own system of writing, and were amazing astronomers. Then there were the Toltecs, who were masters of architecture and warfare. And of course, the Aztecs, who created a massive empire with this stunning capital city, Tenochtitlan, built right in the middle of a lake. But the journey didn't end there. The next great chapter of the story actually took to the sea. People bravely got into canoes and started exploring the beautiful islands of the Caribbean. And this happened in waves. First, you had the Siboney, who were mainly hunter-gatherers. They were followed by the Arawak peoples, like the Taínos, who were peaceful farmers and fishers. And finally, a third group, the Kalinago, arrived. They were known to be more aggressive warriors and started to push out some of the earlier groups. Okay, our journey now takes its final big turn south into the huge continent of South America. And we're heading up, way up, into one of the toughest environments on Earth, the Andes Mountains. And here in the Andes, the Inca created a truly mind-blowing empire. To farm on those steep mountains, they invented incredible techniques like terracing. They built thousands of miles of roads to connect their empire, and they created one of the most organized societies in history. So, when you pull it all together, you see this unbelievable timeline. It all starts with that crossing from Asia over 15,000 years ago, leading to the populating of 2 continents, the rise and fall of great civilizations, and the creation of massive empires. It's just one of the greatest stories of human history. So, when you think about this huge, sprawling story that covers millennia, what's the big takeaway? What does it all teach us? The most important thing to remember is this: the Americas were not an empty, wild land. For thousands of years before 1492, they were a vibrant, bustling place, home to millions of people living in all kinds of complex and fascinating societies. And that is a history worth knowing.